I'm Coach Cal. I'm owner, founder of the Training Lab, along with my wife, Monica. I train champions, and I'm here to train you guys too, but right now I'm going to let you in a little bit of what the Training Lab's about and about how it started, and just to kind of develop a relationship with you, let you guys know what's going on.
Ask yourself the question, what would your life be like? What would your life look like if you decided not to care what people thought of you? What would your life be like if you decided to give up some of your fears? What would your life be like if you decided to become courageous? What would your life be like?
Basically, the Training Lab started as a movement with my wife Monica and I to help wrestlers and fighters start to be able to deal with the evils of overtraining, cutting weight, and basically abusing this indomitable spirit that they have to suffer and endure pain at the hands or at the expense of trainers who would basically drive them into the ground without any regard for their recovery, for their autonomic nervous system, their endocrine system, their testosterone, their cortisol levels, their mineral levels, their vitamin levels, and then the extreme weight cuts where these guys suffer tremendously. And they do it because they're good wrestlers. They do it because they're good fighters. In particular, it's very unique to combat athletes. My background is I wrestled all my life until I was 40 years old. And at that point in time, it just became too painful. Every time I wrestled the kids out there, everything hurt. So I wanted to take the next to best challenge that I had, yet I had the wrestler mentality, the combat athlete mentality that said, once you've wrestled, everything else in life is easy. So I decided that I was going to go ahead and take the next to best challenge, and that challenge was the Ironman Triathlon. They call it the toughest one-day endurance event in the world, and I wanted to be able to push myself to that level. And so I signed up, trained by myself for a year, and ended up doing my first Ironman. It was almost 15 years ago now, and it was quite an experience. I figured out that Dan Gable's quote that says, once you've wrestled in life, then everything else is easy, was not exactly true. You see, they like to talk about mind over matter, but what the Ironman showed me is that mind over matter means nothing if you don't have the matter to put your mind over. So 16 hours into it, I was literally dying. I crossed the finish line and I collapsed the finish line. I swore I'd never ever do it again. And the next morning, I knew that I had tapped a resource in my body. Not from a 6-minute match or a 25-minute match in a cage, but 16 hours of driving my body to complete exhaustion made me find something deeper than I ever had to go. And I signed up for my next Ironman. After that is a subsequent journey of the Ironman Triathlon to qualify for the top level, which is the Ironman in Kona, Hawaii. And that's a rough road to go. I was not anywhere near the excellence of the triathletes out there who had a background in running, biking, or swimming or whatnot. And so I wasn't going to qualify on time, but there was another way for me to qualify. And they call this the hard way. It was to qualify as what's called a legacy. A legacy is a person who has to do 12 Ironmen in a row without DNFing. DNFing means do not finish or did not finish. And you have to have done the last 4 in a row without skipping any, because if you do, you have to go back and start over. So it's been a 15-year journey, and this year I finally made it. I was able to qualify for Kona, Hawaii, so it's kind of neat for my wife Monica and I, which leads me a little bit about myself. Monica is my best friend. She is my soulmate. 35 years together, I don't think we've ever had a fight. We have 9 wonderful children together, all biologically, and she's the toughest person I know. As I realized that the Ironman was taxing something physically that I could not overcome mentally, that I knew that God made this body of ours in a very, very intricate way that was going to use its faculties in the way that He created, not the way that I chose for it to. So I started to study the physiology of the body to figure out how in this Ironman I could make myself perform better, which coalesced very well with the fact that I'm a world-renowned mathematician. Just a little bit about that is in 2005, I was recognized as the #1 calculus teacher in the entire world by President George Bush and the Advanced Placement Board in Princeton, New Jersey. Subsequently, 4 years later, I was recognized in 2009 as the recipient of the very prestigious Siemens Award for Math, Science, and Technology. Basically, every state in the United States of America chooses one teacher, private and public school, that chooses them to be the top, the best of the best of the best. And so I was very fortunate to be chosen for that as well. And as a result, I wrote my own calculus curriculum, I wrote my own calculus textbook, and the institution I'm at right now, Fairmount Preparatory Academy, basically purchased that program and purchased my math program, my books, and I've had a really good relationship with them for the last 17 years. They've been what I call work home. Taking that combination of math ability and the hunger for the physiological integration, I was able to proprietarily put together quite a few algorithms on the human body and the human genome and the expression of performance that nobody else in the world has done, quite frankly. And we call one of them the Medi-Cal. Cal is the kind of the take on Mr. Cal, Calavita, Cal. The kids at school call me Mr. Cal. And calculus, calgebra, all these things we play on that word. So that was the beginning, and I was able to then bring this background of mine and these abilities that I had to the first fighter that I actually worked with was Mark Munoz, the Philippine Wrecking Machine. Mark came to me, and he was in such a terrible state of overtraining that he couldn't even walk up the stairs in his house. I believe it was before his Chris Lieben fight. And he had such a low testosterone level that I can't remember the number, but it was really, really sub-low. And he came and he said, "Coach Cal, I got to fight in 3 weeks, and I can't do this. I can't even walk up the stairs to my house." So Mark and I began to work together, and in a 3-week time span, my understanding was Proverbs 25:3, which is the actual scripture that we began the training lab with. It is the glory of kings to search out a matter. So I began to search out how I could integrate my skills into how God created this body to work. And basically, in 3 weeks, if you guys saw the Lieben fight, we were able to turn Mark's hormone profile completely around. And at that point, he became a believer. And we didn't do it through exogenous means. We did it through treating the body the way that God wanted the body to be treated. And we stopped abusing it. And we started paying attention to the little things. The nutrition, the supplementation, the periodization, the mesocycles, the cross-integration of slow twitch muscle fiber, fast twitch muscle fiber, the recovery days, the hydration, the electrolyte, and on went the list. And we saw results that were astounding because we started treating the body the way that God intended to be treated. And so fast forward now, the training lab right now has a full stable of fighters and world-class wrestlers, and the list goes on and on. Olympic gold medalist Helen Maroulis, world champion, and now recognized as the most dominant wrestler on the planet in 2018, David Taylor. The entire Penn State wrestling team, Aaron Pico, Juan Archuleta, Sadawad, Georgie, the list goes on. And their performances are being replicated week after week and month after month, thus solidifying that the way we're treating the body and the scientific approach we take to it, because we come from a eukaryotic cell. And the eukaryotic cell is full of organelles. Those organelles are things like the mitochondria, the peroxisomes, the endoplasmic reticulum, the Golgi apparatus, and the ribosomes are in there to build the proteins. And all these things that happen within the mitochondria. And so I dig deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and the farther I would dig, the more amazed I was at his creation, and the more I was amazed at what I could get out of the body, that there's something different out there. There's something far greater than don't drink water, starve yourself, train hard, and be tough. And that has allowed us to establish a training lab platform. You see, a training lab platform, yes, it has to do with athletes, and it has to do with the performance. But that performance is basically a springboard to them being able to stand on a pedestal to declare to the world something great that they can now bring to the world. So basically it's kind of like this. We enable the boys to perform at a level that's unprecedented, thereby allowing them to stand tall and make a positive difference in the world. We got about a dash between our birth date and our dying date, and that dash is about that long. And as you all know, we can't take anything with us. So it's what you leave behind that matters, and it's how we use that dash. And the Training Lab is about that dash. It's about creating a positive difference and making a difference in every life that comes across us. Every life we change in a positive fashion gets carried on. And it gets passed on and on and on. And this is what we call the Training Lab Movement. And the Training Lab, as a family, has a core set of values. And so we're not interested in money or garbage out there that waves in our face. We're interested in creating difference in lives. There's nobody in the world right now who does what we do here at the Training Lab. I know because I wrote them. I wrote the algorithms. I implemented the algorithms. And the product is out there. I hope you guys got a little bit of an idea as to who I am. Coach Cal, Sam Calavita, my wife Monica, the wonderful team people around me, about the Training Lab, and to also understand that yes, we serve a mighty God, but we don't bow down before any idols. We make our guys the best and the toughest of the world. And so, I'm Coach Cal, I train champions. I'm Training Lab strong. Be the best that you can be.